here with the JP Hightek. Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad. We made it. This was amazing, friend. I love this. I am changing your name. I know we didn't discuss this, but I'm changing your name. It should not be JP High Tech. It should be JP High Energy. This was so much energy from start to finish. The questions, the engagement, our conversation, the dialogue. It was such a great conversation. I mean, seriously, I am being interviewed, but I'm taking notes. This is the only sticky notes I could find near me. I'm taking notes during my own interview. It was just that amazing. And I think what you do here is 100% excellence, from the pre communication to prepping for the actual interview, your engagement with the people, and then this beautiful production. Listen, my friend, this is top notch.
Holy cow, this was such a fun interview. And JP, you're an exceptional host. I mean, I always felt comfortable. You let me know exactly where things were at, and you asked amazing questions. This is one of the first times that we've really had a conversation. We've been able to speak in the DMs and via text numerous times, but I felt like I was talking with a friend the whole interview. So thank you so much for being such a great host.
You already know the high quality, that's the word that I put next to it, is quality. And there's nothing like this out there, honestly. And I definitely was a JP fanboy for a while, because just seeing the quality work and the gifting. The majority of this content is free. It's insane. It's free. It's out there. Like, if we're not growing and learning, it's because we're choosing not to. So don't choose not to learn and grow. Grab a hold of this content, grab a hold of everything you're seeing here, and really apply it. Like, take it, apply it, because it works and it's going to elevate you. And that's the pursuit to elevate. And you have that here with JP. So, man, awesome.
My immediate thoughts are that, first of all, I love that it's called Content Creator University, especially because I teach at a university as an adjunct professor. So it felt like a great fit for obvious reasons. I loved that the audience was engaged and connected and was willing to participate and chime in with great comments. I felt great, like I felt like I would come back anytime. So it was a welcoming experience. Your communication was strong. It was clear. It was helpful. You provided me with images to make it easy to share, the links to Restream, like all of the things. It was my first time using Restream, sharing anything on Restream. So even from that perspective, opening up my eyes to new ways of sharing content across platforms. So I felt like I was in very good hands with you tonight as your guest, JP. So thank you.
every single week, but I want to connect with you. I want you to go ahead and download my mobile application. If you have an iPhone, go ahead and download my app called JP Hightek TV right now onto your phone. If you have a TV, a smart TV, my app is also available on your Roku TV, right? Go ahead and download JP Hightek TV on your Roku TV or your Amazon Fire TV right now, and let's connect together, right? I want you to grow with me. I want us to grow together. If you love podcasts, I'm also happy to tell you that the Content Creators University is available syndicated across every podcast platform. Apple Podcasts, Audible, Google Podcasts, you name it, we are there. Spotify and all of that. Go ahead and download it, listen to it, and do me a favor. If you appreciate what we're doing, go ahead and put it in the comment section. Leave me a review on any of those podcast platform or mobile application platform. Let me know if any of the hard work that we're putting into this community, this broadcast, this podcast is helping you. If you appreciate all the amazing guests that we're bringing onto the platform to share their expertise with you. This is a lot of work, family, and I'm doing all this in order for you to be able to grow your business the right way, leveraging content creation. Thanks so much, and if you appreciate what we do, go ahead as well subscribe to the YouTube channel JP Hightek Reviews. Follow me personally if you want to, connect with me on all social media, and the handle is @JP Hightek. I love connecting. Like I always say, network is the new currency. So I want to see you online. I want to connect with you, and I want to hear from you. Let's grow together. Be safe, like I always say. See you next time. Shalom. Peace.
Hey, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Content Creators University. I am so excited that you guys decided to join us again today. You guys know how we do it, right? Every single week we bring a new expert, right? We call them professors, and they come here to empower us, to give us, those strategies that you and I would need to level up. So before we get started into anything, if you're joining us right now live, I want you to go ahead and put it in the comment section so we can give you guys a shout out. Let us know where you're joining us from. And of course, talking about folks that are joining us, shout out to you, Micro Gamers. What's good? Thanks for joining us right there on YouTube. First Lady Cree, thank you guys. And for all the folks that are joining us on Instagram, thank you. We appreciate your presence. Go ahead and let us know if you have any questions for our guests. Once we get started, we're more than happy to ask the questions for you, of course, so we can all grow together. This is what this is all about, all right? So today we're talking about something that we need to care about. I know you read the title. You're like, what is GSD? What are they talking about? What does that even mean? How can I grow my business with something I don't know? Well, that's why we have an expert backstage, but more about her in just a little bit. If you're new, allow me to introduce myself, family. My name is JP Hightek. I'm a global branding and media expert. I work with individuals, small businesses, and corporations build a premium brand. Leverage a couple of things. So we're talking technology and content creation, right? So if you're all about leveraging those things, having a premium presence and scaling your business fast so that you can dominate your competition, ultimately you understand that having that allows you to charge more for your product and services, then let's connect, all right? I'm the founder and CEO of a company called Perfect Zone Productions, which is a media agency located here in the state of Tennessee. Let's connect today. I would love to connect with you. Or if you're watching this live, if you're listening, you need to hop on YouTube and come and check us out. The handles at JPHIGHT, KJP Hightek. If you're watching and you're like, yo, I really love what I see. I love the presentation. I love everything. I want to learn. That's what we do. We'll help you and your business build that, right? Establish yourself so you can make an impact and really have the right people connect with you so you can grow. So that is what this is all about. This is a Content Creators University. Our motto is create, impact, and innovate. The first thing that we do, family, is we talk about the news. What's new? This show is both sponsored and listener supported. So we got to give a shout out to our sponsors, right? They allow us to keep the lights on in here. So we got to give them some love, of course. And then we talk about our guests, right? We introduce our guests and bring our guests onto the stage so we can jump on today's conversation. So family, stay with me. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back right after this.
This is Todd.
Hi.
This is Todd's mom.
Hi.
In a moment, Todd's mom will read her son's internet browsing history.
What?
Aloud, please.
No.
Supermodels on trampolines.com. Why don't girls like me?
How to overcome an overbearing mother.
Okay, cut.
If you wouldn't want mom looking through your web history, why would you let hackers, ad companies, or your internet and cellular provider do the same thing?
Why does my junk burn?
They can track and record everything you do online, but not if you have ExpressVPN.
Why did you buy a $200 ninja outfit?
For fighting.
ExpressVPN apps keep your activity and identity private while you browse, stream, email, or download. Protect all of your devices with just one click.
Are my hands small?
Okay, I'm done. You guys are all terrible people.
ExpressVPN. Take back your privacy today.
Ooh.
All right, family. So you heard that is ExpressVPN. ExpressVPN has been a sponsor since season 1. We're now on season 5 of this. And shout out to ExpressVPN Virtual Private Network. I want to encourage you to go ahead and get today. All you have to do is go to the website expressvpn.com/JP Hightek. expressvpn.com/JP Hightek and get yourself a free 3-month or a 12-month subscription for all the users or followers or community members of this community that we have. Talking about community, I also want to encourage you to go ahead and join our private community, and that is called Content Creators University. Just go to the website contentcreatorsuniversity.com, and you have leaders, creators, content creators, speakers, authors. I mean, you name it, leaders, CEOs, and people that are really making a difference in the professional world, leaders in what they do, decision makers. And like I always say, you got to network with the right people. You got to really position yourself and put yourself in the right rooms and in the right circles, right? You need to rub elbows with people that are already probably doing things that you are trying to achieve, right? And those are one of the quickest ways to grow, right? And learn. So if you're interested in that, you can create a free account today by going to contentcreatorsuniversity.com today. And let's grow together, all right? And talking about news, family, we have the Live Stream Blueprint, which is my #1 Amazon best-selling book, currently available. All you have to do is go get your copy right now by going to thelivestreamblueprint.com. I repeat, thelivestreamblueprint.com. Go ahead. It's available worldwide. It's available everywhere. The book's name is The Live Stream Blueprint, like I said, and it teaches you how to start and scale your business leveraging live video. This changed my life. It changed my business. And if you understand the power of live video, you know you need to get this book right now. In there, I put in all the strategies you can think of and all the case studies and everything that you need to leverage in order for you to really impact leveraging specifically live stream as a strategy to grow your business. So again, go ahead and visit the website, thelivestreamblueprint.com today and get yourself a copy. And I can tell you one thing, family, you will not regret it because a lot of people bought it. And if you're interested in learning everything about this thing, you want to go there today and get your copy. All right, enough about all that. Let's talk about our guest. And our guest today, family, and our guest name is Melanie Boylan. Melanie Boylan is her name, and she's joining us from the other side of the world, family. And she's a self-titled communication trainer and navigator for small business owners all the way up to corporate, all right? She set up her business called Stump Social Media Training Ltd. Back in 2013, and we'll talk more about that during this conversation today. And then later became a journalist for Irish Tech News in 2016, and then a podcaster. Yes, she is a creator. She's a content creator, so she understands our pain and the things that we want to do, all right? And so she became a podcaster for the Monday Morning Marketing Podcast with her good friend, Esther Ocampo. I practiced that to make sure I said it correctly, right? I know she's backstage smiling right now, and she did that in January 2020. Now, her family, here's the thing. When she's not doing all of this, right, she's a mother to 2 teenage daughters, has 2 cats, a wonderful husband, and enjoys watching medical vampire and murder series. And when she goes to Comic-Cons, the cinema, has long walks and drinks beetroot juices. Listen, family, she is a real person. She knows what real people go through. She's a family person, and I love that because I'm a family man myself. I'm a father and a husband, so I love that. And so she understands the things that we go through because she also uses similar tools that we use. And so today, we're talking about something that's very important. And before we dive into it, get ready because I'm about to bring her right after this short intro. Let's go. All right, all right, all right. Welcome to the show. What's going on, Melanie? How are you today?
I'm really good. Thank you so much for having me, JP.
Of course, my pleasure. And I want to thank you because people don't know what time it is and where you're joining us from. Please take a minute, let them know where you're joining us from, right? And also tell them a little bit about yourself, right? Because I'm so excited, they don't know why. So I know you do a better job. I read a little bit of your bio, but you'll do a better job than me just talking about what makes you so awesome, right? So go ahead, take it away, please.
I'm not sure I could tell you how awesome I am, but I'm based in the Republic of Ireland, so I am quite a bit away from you and your listeners, probably. I am currently sitting here at nearly 11:15 at night, so it's quite late for me.
Wow.
But you're totally worth it.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Listen, family, she is taking her precious time to come here. She get, paid for this, and she's a professional in what she does. And we're here to learn, right? Melanie, we're here to learn from you. And I'm so excited and honored that you're our professor today. So Professor Boylan in the house. That's what this is all about tonight. And so the first fun question that I have for you, of course, is we ask every guest, if you were a superhero, Melanie, who will that be and why?
I don't know if you've got this superhero over there, but I think I would be Mighty Mouse.
Mighty Mouse? I know Mighty Mouse, really?
Mighty Mouse, yeah. Because we've got the British version of Danger Mouse over here, so I thought I'd go with Mighty Mouse in case you hadn't heard of Danger Mouse. And I think it's because he's horribly misconstrued. He looks small, he looks insignificant, but he's actually got a tremendous amount of power and empathy, and he just tries to do better all the time, and wants to be seen as a good role model. And I think if I was, I know it should be a lady, but it was the best superhero I could think of. Because I may look meek, I may look, fragile, but there's an awful lot going on underneath that a lot of people don't take into account. And the reason where I am today is because of all of my past experience, be it personal or business, mistakes or achievements I've made. And, all I want to do now is it's the same as Mighty Mouse or Danger Mouse. And that's just to do better every day.
Wow. I love that. I love that. Honestly, a lot of time people focus on the foreground and they forget the background. But I would say what's hidden, what you don't see is the true thing that's actually sustaining what's on the foreground. Just like building a house, the foundation of the house is what's sustaining the house. But a lot of time we forget that. We're just looking at the chandeliers, the buildings and the walls and everything. And then forgetting that there's something sustaining all of that in order for it to be possible. So thank you so much. Now, I do have another question here, somewhat serious, that we ask every guest as well. And this is to know if you had the power to go back in time, knowing everything you know today, all the experiences you've built, all the places you've been, right? The education, the opportunities, all of that. Knowing everything today. If you had the power to go back in time and speak to yourself when you were 19 years old, what will be one major piece of advice you give yourself and why?
Yeah, 19 was an interesting age, actually, because that was the first time I'd run my very first business. and I was a self-employed cleaner, so nothing terribly exciting. But we all had to start from somewhere.
Right.
And, I didn't have a huge amount of self-belief, which is why I hid in other people's houses, basically. But I was told that I did a really good job. And I did an awful lot of work through word of mouth. But it was a different world back then as well. We're talking quite a few years ago now. So I think I would, if I could go back and speak to Melanie then, I'd probably say, you will not believe that you're going to leave England, move to Ireland, set up a whole business and have 2 kids, 2 cats, and just have the life that you do. Because I was just so unsuspecting and so naive at 19. But it was a different world then, JP.
Wow. Wow. That's powerful, right? You said something powerful, which is you will not believe, right?
No, definitely wouldn't have believed.
Yeah.
Definitely not have believed.
Wow, that's something powerful, because belief is something that, a lot of people sometimes lack or struggle to keep, right? Believing in oneself, in their abilities, or even the things that we're doing, that we will even be successful in it, right? There's that huge doubt. And here you are, you've done all of that, and you went from, building a journey from Stump Social Media, right, which is your company, and from there to becoming a journalist, and a podcaster. Can you share with us a little bit about that journey there?
Absolute pleasure. Everything about me going into business was all a bit of an accident. When I first arrived over here in the Republic of Ireland, which is Southern Ireland, I came over with a small child and my husband, and I just volunteered. I was just trying to keep myself going and finding new friends, because although I just arrived over here, I had no network of my own, had no school friends,
Right.
and that sort of thing. So I just tried to sort of create a community around myself, if you like. And so with my baby, with my first child, I started going along to parent and toddlers and volunteering and that sort of stuff. And over the course of the first couple of years of me volunteering with this parent and toddler, I started getting more involved and was promoting the charity. And then I was having teams of volunteers that were working with me. And, I was just working my way up. And part of the role was to promote the charity on social media. And during the course of this time, I went over to a friend's house, and it was their daughter's birthday. And as you know, we're all at parent and toddler together.
Right.
And Melanie is not a typical Irish name, I can tell you that for sure. And somebody said, "Oh, are you the Cridgew lady?" Which is how I was referred to back then. And I said, "Yes. I really would love for you to show me how you do what you do." And when I worked out who this guy was, he was the magician at the birthday party.
Oh, wow.
And he was quite a, mature gent. And so his traditional methods were in the press, or, on the little cards that you put into, like Walmart and that sort of stuff on the wall, just to let people know about your products or services. And that was all he did. And it was just not working for him anymore. And even word of mouth was fading slightly. And so for the first few weeks after I spoke to him, I didn't charge or anything. I didn't know I could. I was just showing him how to do it. Right. And then it was a few weeks later, actually I think it was a couple of months later, when my husband was saying, "You're doing this a while now, you should start charging."
No, you got to start making some money, right?
And that's how it started. So that's how Stomp social media started. And then I was out there for a while, was finding my feet. I did a start your own business course and, started to build up my own network and community again. And I was posting more and more frequently, and I was getting better and better at blogging. And I came to the attention of the senior editor of Irish Tech News. Somebody had forwarded my blog to them. And that's how I got the job with Irish Tech News. So I hadn't applied for it. I just got it.
Wow. Wow.
And so it's that was an accident as well. And then the last one, the podcast. Myself and Esther, we've known each other for years here in Ireland, and we were again volunteering for another friend who runs lots of events, and she lives up north. She lives in Northern Ireland. I live in the south, in the Republic, and we were at this one event, and I guess we've known each other so long, we kind of banded off each other. We were just having a laugh, and somebody said, "My God, you two are so funny. You should do something together. You should do a podcast." And it was like we both went, and it was like the most amazing idea in the world.
Light bulb going off, right?
And 6 weeks later, we had a podcast.
Wow. Wow. It's amazing how all of your amazing achievements were not fully intentional or strategic. It just organically happened. Like being with the right person at the right place at the right time. And, it's just amazing to me. It's so interesting that, you were able to also take, because there's one thing, right? Because that can happen to you and then you don't take any action. But you took action on that. And by taking action today, here we are, right? Today, across nations, across the world, we're having you as an expert teaching us here on this show. And, you and I, we were a speaker at a different conference, Creators Day. And, here you are impacting the world. And that's just so, so amazing. Now, of course, one question that I have in my mind, Melanie, is, out of everything you're doing, what specifically inspired you to focus on helping small businesses, right, and corporates navigate their specifically communication strategy? Because you could have done a whole lot of other things. Why specifically this area?
I've obviously attended a lot of trainings myself, okay? And I found that some of the trainings that I attended were overly complicated, and they sometimes came across as like, I want to prove how clever I am and how knowledgeable I am about the subject matter by confusing the heck out of you. And with group trainings, as I'm sure you're aware, JP, there's such a different array of knowledge in the room. It's really difficult to train a group of people at the same pace. And I'm completely aware of that, more aware of it now than I ever was before. And as really useful as the Start Your Own Business course was that I did with the local enterprise office here in the Republic of Ireland, and it is an excellent resource, and I'm sure every country has something similar to it. Once you leave that room, you're kind of left to your own devices. And some people got it. Some people were too afraid to ask questions. Some people had everything they needed and just didn't have the accountability. So I decided that I was the missing link. Sounds really self-important of myself there, doesn't it? But it's but I thought, if I can't find this resource myself, then maybe I should provide it.
Right.
And I haven't done it on my own. I'm not the answer to everything. I've got my own accountability buddy to this day. So it's no one can do any of this on their own. And I've been told I have a very clear way of explaining things. I'm patient. I keep the tone light, that sort of thing. And so people don't feel threatened or They don't feel like they're going to be picked on, or I have no idea. But it's just, and I've found over the course of the 11 years I've been in business, that the kind of testimonials and reviews have spoken for themselves.
Wow. Well, let's dive into it, because a lot of people are like, okay, let's dive into the training today, right? This GSD thing. First of all, what does that mean, right? What does GSD mean? And two, why do you believe it's crucial for achieving rapid business growth? Break it down for us, please.
Well, GSD is a bit of a play on words. I'm sure all of you have heard of get stuff done. And this is GSD, which helps you get stuff done.
I love it.
Yeah, it's a funnel at the end of the day. And because we all love threes, GSD made a lot of sense. So what GSD actually stands for is for goals, SWOT, and diary. And it was just a really simple way to convey an important message. And a lot of people remember things when you can make it as easy to replicate and understand as possible.
Right.
And if you don't have a goal or a mission and vision statement or a collection of all three, how do you know where you're going? Because if you don't know where you're going, your audience certainly doesn't. So I've isolated these three areas, but obviously I would talk about the whole thing when I was discussing it. So talking about brand personas, customer avatars, so on and so forth. But so the goal is the important thing. If you know what your goals are, you know what your KPIs are, your key performance indicators, and you know where you're going to be creating your tasks, your project management. Then you go over to your SWOT, and this is horribly underused. In fact, most people only seem to do their SWOT when they do a business plan, and that's it. They never do it again. And so now I do my SWOT every single 6 months. And for me, that is like ticking off a checklist.
Okay.
So SWOT stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And the one thing, especially solopreneurs, are terrible at doing is talking about their strengths. Terrible. But then we don't work on our weaknesses or our opportunities or our threats enough. And by going every 6 months and looking at where you were weak, like last year, for instance, as GA4, Google Analytics 4 was coming out, I used to know Universal Analytics really well. And I realized that was a really big weakness for me. So it went on to my SWOT. And that meant that I then created what was in my SWOT as a weakness or a threat into a task or a goal, an objective. And the whole point I see of a SWOT is that everything that isn't an S has to become one.
Okay.
It's it's a cycle. So if you've got opportunities, threats, and weaknesses, they can all become strengths, but only if you work on them.
Right, of course.
And that's where the diary comes into it. And I tend to show people a bit of both diaries. So I show them, if you're a bit of a big picture sort of person, then get yourself a planner or Post-it notes or whatever works for you. I know some people sit in a room with a couple of business friends and kind of workshop what their next objectives, what their next campaign's going to be. And then they, do jot notes down, and then that becomes something that they then put into their social media planner or into their Excel spreadsheet. And then I tend to put everything over from my planner into a Google Calendar. And the only reason why I do that, and the God's honest truth, is I have two locations. I have a home office and an office, and I can bet your life that I will leave my planner at the other place.
now,
So
right?
that's
As
why
a
I started
backup.
using, yeah, that's why I started using the Google Calendar, because I would always leave my planner at the wrong place.
Well, that's a smart and smooth way of doing it, right? But in regards to setting effective goals, right, for business growth, could you walk us through your process of setting that up?
Well, your goals can be anything as long as it's something that's broken down into more detail. I mean, I've had people sit opposite me saying, "Oh, I want more followers." Okay, what kind of followers do you want? Which social platforms? Are you only looking on social, or are you hoping to find more people to buy your tickets or visit your stand or buy your book?
Right.
So and once you know where they are and how many you want, how often do you want to get them? Do you want them weekly or monthly? And what is a conversion to you? What is a key performance indicator to you? Is it somebody subscribing to your email list? Is it somebody downloading something? Is it bums on seats, or maybe somebody watching your premiere on YouTube? And just saying, "Oh, I want followers," you need to break it down. And I find tools like Asana fabulous for this sort of thing, or some people have pet favors like Trello or other
Right.
platforms. But yeah, I see goals and objectives really as a project management tool. And if you've got a goal, then you just need to make the steps to make that goal a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Whew. There's so much information in this podcast so far, so many strategies and breakdown. I'm loving it. Thank you so much. Hopefully you guys are taking note, or just go back and replay, right? Replay, take note, and make sure you're understanding what we're discussing here, so you are successful. SWOT analysis apparently plays a huge role in your processes that you use, right? And so how can we better use that to identify our weakness, opportunities, and threats for our businesses?
That is a really good question. And that's one of the actually most frequently asked questions I'm asked when I talk about a SWOT analysis. Because everybody can identify the weaknesses. It's so easy. Most people just say, "Oh, I'm terrible at this, and I'm terrible at that, and I'm terrible at this." But a lot of these weaknesses aren't actually weaknesses at all. They're concerns, they're anxieties, they're a lot of people, and I know you've seen this, JP, because I've seen some of your previous podcasts. A lot of these are people who believe they cannot do these things. So when it comes down to weaknesses, what I would recommend to people to do is not something you can't do 2 or 3 times. It's something you can't do 5 or 6 times, and then you can't replicate it. It's nobody can pick anything up first time.
Ooh, that's good.
Nobody can pick anything up first time. Literally no one. So keep trying. And it's taken me a long time to admit this, but the only reason why I'm still here today is because I've made a whopping amount of mistakes. But I've realized that they're mistakes, and I've put things in place I haven't always paid attention to, but I've put things in place where it makes it harder to do that again. So I don't know if your listeners will find this useful, but basically every mistake I've ever made has become a term and condition on my website.
Oh, wow. Wow. That is strategic indeed. That's amazing.
Yeah. So every mistake I've made, or horror stories I've heard from other people, because I haven't made all the mistakes, but sometimes I've heard them from other people. And, on my website now, I even tell people what I don't do, because some people just assume I do graphic design. I don't do graphic design. Some people assume I do websites because a lot of my competitors do. I don't do websites. So I've made a point of saying I already tell people what I do, but I also tell people what I don't do on my website.
And see, that's a big deal. Honestly, that is a big deal, because a lot of times people are focused on telling people, this is what I do, this is what I do, but what don't you do, right? Are you also clear about what you do not do? And not just for you, but you have to be clear, like you said, to your target audience. So they don't waste your time. So you don't waste their time either.
Yeah.
Right. And that's a big deal. And having that clarity, because it just allows you to move faster and to land customers better, right? And better quality relationships will fall within your funnel, and that's what you want, right? Let's go ahead and give a shout out to the folks that are joining us. Hey, what's good? Luke Morrow, all the way from France. Thank you guys for being here. Lexil, what's good? Right there on YouTube, and all the folks on Instagram. Thank you guys for being here. We appreciate your presence. Well, Melanie is amazing. I'm looking up and I'm like, oh, wow, almost time to get out of here, right? Almost time to let you go to bed, but we're not going to let you go like that. I have one last question before we ask you, how we can connect with you and all of that. I would like to know, based on your experience, right? What would you say are the most common pitfalls, right? Or challenges per se that businesses face when they're trying to implement the SWOT?
When they're trying to implement a SWOT, well, quite simply, they can't think of anything they're good at.
Oh, wow.
Because they just sit there and go, well, these are all my weaknesses, these are my threats. Then they can't look at the positives. And I'm talking about not just startups here, I'm talking about people who've been in business sometimes for years, and they really struggle with their strengths. So my suggestion, I know you're looking for pitfalls here, and I'm going to give you a pitfall in a minute. But my suggestion here is when I created a new course back in 2020, I had all these great ideas of, this is going to be, responding to this pain point. I'm going to be getting this right for them. And then I had the craziest responses in testimonials. And I was thinking, they got that out of it? They got this out of that? I mean, wow. And, sometimes getting testimonials, especially if you've been in business for a while, your audience are telling you how you've responded to their pain points. And if it's not the way you expect, then that's a weakness. And that means your messaging needs to improve, and you need to listen to what your audience are actually saying, you're fixing or not fixing, of course. But one of the biggest pitfalls when it comes to a SWOT is people don't enact on it. They go to the trouble, the sweat, the tears of trying to create this SWOT analysis in the first place, and then they don't enact on it. And that's just such a crying shame, because by doing this every 6 months, I'm giving myself a deadline. And as a solopreneur, that's the one thing I don't have. I don't have somebody breathing down my neck saying, oh, have you got this done? Why isn't this done? And I found that kind of accountability has transformed my business.
That's big. That's big. And I want to thank you for breaking it down, making it so easy to understand, right? And it is true what you say, right? Like, if the outcome of what you're offering is different from your expected outcome, that's a problem. And there's got to be a revision or correction, or a review of what you're offering and how you're offering that. And that's so real. It's crazy. I know I can talk to you for hours, but we not got to respect your time and let you go to bed. Before we do that, question. Stump Social, what are your services, right? What are you offering? How can people work with you? Where should they go, and things like that? Can you take a minute and share that? And for the folks that want to be social and network with you, how can they do that as well?
Well, Stomp Social Media Training is a .ie, so I'm stomp.ie, but I do service businesses pretty globally. I've been very fortunate. And the areas I help people in is social media training, teaching people how to create a digital marketing strategy alongside them. So I do it as a support. I do social media management as well. I do power hours, and I also do what I like to call a business support pod, if you like. And if you just need a bit of accountability for a month or so, and because you've already got the knowledge and you just need somebody to bounce it off, that's going to be an ideal service for you. The best way to reach me, God's honest truth, really is through my website, because you've got all the resources there. You've got my blogs, you've got all of my social media contacts, and you've got my calendar, my phone number, and my email address there. So I try to make it as easy as possible.
Well, there it is, family. Just go to the website, stump.ie, stumping, STOMP.ie. Just go to the website, and Melanie will be right there. And let her know if you discover her through this podcast. Let her know. I know she'll be happy to hear that. And she's awesome. She's without any complications. Easy to work with, easy to connect. And so go ahead and connect. Like I always say, let's take action on our businesses. Melanie, I want to thank you. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. Looking forward to doing more things with you. And honestly, thank your family for allowing you to come out this late and doing this podcast. Thank you again.
Yeah, thank you for having me. And to everybody out there, thank you for your time.
Of course, our pleasure. Family, we've gone to the end of the show. I want to thank you for sticking up with us here. This is something we do every single week. So, honestly, if you appreciate it, I want to go ahead and encourage you. Don't hesitate, right? Go ahead and truly follow us. Subscribe if you're watching our YouTube channel. The handle is JP Hightek. Turn on the bell notification, because every single week we go live and we bring you training, free strategies that honestly, all that's left is implementation. So we'll see you again next week for another show at the same day, around the same time. Like I always say, shalom. Bye, everyone.